Hi children, welcome back to our class. Last class we have started to balance a chemical equation and we have seen what is the need of balancing a chemical equation that we have seen. Today we will continue with balancing chemical equation. We can take another example. Last class we saw an equation which is already balanced. So today we will see another equation which we can balance. Okay, on moving to our topic, balancing a chemical equation. Another example is reaction between barium chloride and aluminum sulfate, and the products are aluminum chloride and barium sulfate. So these two reactions are familiar reactions. Last year we have studied that a precipitate is produced, both are clear solutions, and a precipitate is produced when mixed. Okay, and that precipitate is of barium sulfate, and in this case barium chloride solution and aluminum sulfate solution is mixed together, so that the product form will be aluminum chloride and barium sulfate. I have told you sometimes the question will be in a statement model. At that time you have to write the equation for that. For that we should know the symbol and formula. That is what we have studied, that formula, derivation of formula and all in the 9th standard. And if you have already given a symbol equation, we can proceed next step. So step 1, it is starting. In that case we have to check the number of atoms of different elements on both sides, reactant sides as well as the product side. And if they are found as unequal, not equal, then definitely we have to proceed with the balancing. So we are checking the different elements present in this particular reaction is barium is there, aluminum is there, chlorine, sulfur and oxygen. So we can see the number of atoms of different elements on reactant as well as product side. In this case, in this particular case, how many atoms of barium is present on the left side? Left side it is 1, number is 1. Then how many are there in the right side? Right side how many barium is there? It is also 1 there. In that right side also we can see the 1. And in case of aluminum, left side it is 2 there, but in right side it is 1. That means that equation is not balanced, we have to balance it. So aluminum 2, 1. Then next is chlorine, here it is 2 and here it is 3. That is also not balanced. So 2, 3. Then sulfur 3 is here and here only 1. So that is also not balanced, 3 and 1. And oxygen 4 into 3, 12 are there and here it is only 4. So the number of atoms of different elements on both sides are not equal. So definitely we have to go with balancing in order to make that particular reaction should obey with the law of conservation of mass. So we can see in the next step what is happening there. Then in the first step we have seen that this one table, we have to draw a table. First of all, writing the element, number of atoms of reactants on left side and number of atoms of products on right side. This table is there in the first step. Then we have to proceed with the next step. In the step 3, step 2, what we have to do, that we have to see. Step 2. So in this step we have to equate that number of different elements on both sides. For that we are, first of all, we are balancing the number of first we can see that once again we can take the table, and here in this case we can take that aluminum, which is present only in one case. Sometimes a single element will be present in both the products. So at that time we will take an element which is present in only once. Okay, so aluminum is present here, and that aluminum, sulfur is also there, but oxygen comes in between. So aluminum we can first equate with the aluminum. Aluminum in left side it is 2 and in right side it is 1. So we will equate that aluminum first. How can we equate that aluminum on both sides? See here, in this case it is 2 and it is only 1. So by multiplying the right side by 2, we can equate it by multiplying right side by 2. So at that time number of aluminum is found to be equal, 2Al, 2Al, but the number of chlorine then change. 3 into 2, 6 chlorine is there. So in the next step what we have to do, we have to equate that chlorine equal. We have to equate chlorine. Now chlorine here also it is 2, right? So it is 6, here also 6 chlorine is there, and here only 3. How you will make that 2 to 6? Again multiplying by 3 in step 3. So in step 1 by 1 only we are equating the number of atoms of a particular element, we will be equating first, and then proceeded by the next element, like so only, not all together. Okay, so first we have equated aluminum, then after that we have equated that chlorine. Now the number of chlorine atoms are equal there, 3 into 2 6 and 3 into 2 6, aluminum also equal. Now we can equate the remaining there. If we are equating sulfur and oxygen as it is a radical, we have to equate it together. So we are equating that together there in the next step, that is step 4. So in that step 4 we are going to equate next 2 elements together. Sulfur, we can just for it is easy for us to analyze, though we have written that different elements in the table, but if you are taking this radical together, that will be easy for us. Here SO4 3 is there, but here SO4 only 1. So how can you make SO4 3? Now when we have equated that chlorine there, now the number of barium changed there. So that also we have to equate. Okay. So now our next step is to equate barium there on the right side also. So we can write BaCl2 plus Al2 SO4 thrice gives 2AlCl3 plus 3Ba is there on left side. So right side also we have to multiply by 3. So 3BaSO4. So aluminum, chlorine and barium, all those elements are now equal. Now we have to equate. Now we have to equate that sulfur and oxygen. Now just observe the SO4 is 3. 3 is meant for the sulfur and oxygen. So sulfur will be 3 here, and here it is also 3, and oxygen is 3 into 4 12, and here it is also 3 into 4 12. So in step 5 just we are observing that already balanced equation and writing that on final inspection. On final inspection of this balanced equation, we can observe that the number of atoms of different elements on the reactant side as well as the product side are equal, found equal. So hence the equation is balanced. That is the conclusion of this particular question. So when we are answering that balancing a chemical equation, first of all you have to, sometimes you have to write the word equation there, sometimes you have to derive the symbol equation from that word equation, or That depends on the question. Sometimes in the question directly it will be given as symbol equation. So we can go with the step 1, making the table which indicates the number of different atoms of elements of different elements on both sides. That table, that is the step 1. Once again we can see that for a particular question, step 1, making this table and finding out that number is not equal, and then second one, if a particular element is involved in more than 2 cases, in 2 products also that same element is involved, then we will not proceed with that element of first. Okay, we will see with the first we will equate a single element which is found only once in the product as well as in the reactant side. So here it is aluminium. So our first aim is to equate aluminium first. So we equated it by multiplying 2 on the right side, and then automatically number of chlorine change then we equated that number of chlorine there equal. So at that time number of barium change that we equated in the next step, and finally we could observe that complete equation is balanced there. So we will write the conclusion there on final inspection. The number of atoms of different elements on both sides of the equation are found equals, hence the equation is balanced. Got it clear? This is the steps of balancing a chemical equation. Now we can see one more example there. We can see one more example. In that second example, it is given the NaOH and the reaction between sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid to give sodium sulfate and water. The reaction is between sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. So sulfate will be produced and water. Different elements involved in this case is hydrogen, oxygen, sodium and sulfur. So we can see the number of atoms of all these elements on both sides. Hydrogen on left side, total we have 2. It is involved in both the reactants. So hydrogen 1, hydrogen 2, 2 plus 1, total 3. Total 3 is the number on left side. On right side it is only 2. Then oxygen 1, 1 plus 4, 5. Here it is 4 plus 1, 5. Then sodium, it is only 1 here and it is 2. So 1 and 2. Then sulfur, it is 1 here, it is also 1 on right side. So these are the number of atoms of different elements on left and right side. 3, 2, 5, 5, 1, 2, 1, 1. So the number of atoms of different elements are found unequal. So we have to balance this particular equation. Okay. So we have to move to the step 2. At that time what our aim is to equate that any particular element. Here we are going to equate which is not a repeated one, sodium. It is seen only once there. So we are going to equate sodium first. So in that cases, if an element is found in more than one reactant and product side, we will not go with that particular element, which is only repeated only once. Once we can see on the reactant side and product side, that we will equate first. So here we are taking sodium. Here it is 2 and here it is only 1. So we can multiply the left side by 2. So here also it will become 2 Na and Na2. So number of sodium is equal on both sides. Okay. Then here hydrogen is 2 and here it is hydrogen is 2. So 2 plus 2 hydrogen 4. So in the next step we have to equate the number of hydrogen there. Next step we have to equate the number of hydrogen. So we have to, here it is that 2 we are writing, and here also here this 2 and 2 plus 2 4, here only 2. So we have to equate by putting 2 there on the right side. So number of hydrogen is now equal, but the number of oxygen changed there. 2 plus 4 6, but here it is 4 plus 2 6. So now all the elements on both the sides, reactant as well as the product side, are found equal. So for the step 4 we are writing the conclusion. On final inspection, the number of atoms of different elements on both sides of the equation are found equal, hence the equation is balanced. Whenever we are balancing a chemical equation, one thing is very important. We have to take the lowest possible number to equate the number of atoms of different elements. We should multiply with the lowest possible number, not the highest, highest fractions. If you are not highest fractions, if you are taking that highest multiples, that time also it will be equal. Instead of this 2, if you are writing 4 there, here also we can put 2. So at that time also multiples of 2 definitely will equate this equation again. But instead of 4, if 2 is possible, then we have to use that lowest number. For that is actually the rule of balancing a chemical equation. Balancing is to be done with the lowest possible whole numbers. Then only that you will get marks. So for balancing a chemical equation, there are different steps involved there, and finally you have to conclude using a sentence there. And more examples you can observe, you can see there in the notes. And in your textbook backside, first exercise page number, I will tell you. Textbook page number 15. So many different questions are there. Some questions are written there as statement. For example, translate the following statement into chemical equations and balance them. Hydrogen gas combines with nitrogen to form ammonia. That is, hydrogen H2 plus N2 gives NH3. That is the reaction. So at that time also we have given you have given the statement that you have to convert into first word equation, and if word equation is given then we have to convert it into the symbol equation. Word equation is also the question number 7. There is all word equations. So all those word equations we have to convert into symbol equations, and then the symbol equation is also given to balance. That is question number 6. 5, 7, 6. All these questions are in different forms. All these are to balance the chemical equation. So please go through that. If any doubt is there, please feel free to clear it. Ask. Okay. Now our next thing is, how can we make a balanced chemical equation more informative? How can we make a balanced chemical equation more informative? I am writing short form for the equation. We can write a balanced chemical equation more informative by adding certain things to that already balanced equation. So we can tell one by one. If an equation is balanced then in that particular equation that symbols will be there. And in a particular equation, suppose you have given an upward arrow. That upward arrow indicates during that reaction a gas is evolved out. For example, if the reaction is between zinc and sulfuric acid, at that time zinc and sulfuric acid, zinc sulfate ZnSO4 and hydrogen gas will be evolved. So in this case hydrogen gas will be evolved out. The presence of the gas there is indicated by an upward arrow. That upward arrow indicates that a gas is evolved out. Presence of hydrogen, we can show a burning matchstick over there. It will produce a popping sound, that you know, that is familiar to you, right? So at that time that evolution of a gas is indicated by an upward arrow. So that upward arrow makes this particular balanced equation more informative, right? Then same way, if we in a particular balanced equation, if a downward arrow is shown, that indicates the formation of a precipitate. Downward arrow or PPT is written, that indicates the formation of a precipitate. It indicates the formation of a precipitate, the upward arrow or this short form of precipitate, PPT, precipitate. For example, in such cases, the familiar example we can see that, say in previous example, barium chloride when reacts with the sodium sulfate, barium chloride react with the sodium sulfate, at that time barium chloride reacts with the sodium sulfate, we will get sodium chloride NaCl plus barium sulfate. In this particular reaction, we can see this is a precipitate. So, barium sulfate is a precipitate. We can show its formation either by the downward arrow or in bracket you can write PPT also for that. Any one you can use and you can make that particular equation more informative. This equation is not balanced. We have to balance that particular equation. Na2SO4. So, Na2. Then BaCl, Ba2Cl is the, here also 2Cl, 2Na, Na. Okay. So, now the equation is completely balanced, and this downward arrow indicates formation of a precipitate, which is more informative. Okay. Then sometimes in that particular equation we will be noting that state symbol. State symbol means it is the denoting whether the given material is in the solid form, liquid form, or in gaseous form, or in aqueous form. State symbols are those symbols which are denoted to indicate the states. Okay. So, for solid, if that given material is a solid, then small letter S, liquid small letter L, and gas small letter G, that will be used. And if it is dissolved in water, we are saying that aqueous. So, at that time AQ will be written in the bracket. So, that also in this case barium chloride is an aqueous solution. So, when you are writing that equation BaCl2, we can write the aqueous. We can denote the aqueous. AQ, and sodium sulfate is also solution. There also we can denote that Na2SO4 AQ, aqueous. Both are dissolved in water. So, after that we are getting the sodium chloride, that is also aqueous. NaCl, that is also aqueous. And BaSO4, barium sulfate, is a precipitate which is indicated by the downward arrow. So, all these are known as state symbols. Solid for S for solid, liquid, L for liquid, and G for gases, and dissolved in water it is written as aqueous. That will be mentioned there in the brackets of the products and as well as the reactants. Okay. And then the last thing to make that equation more informative is, sometimes the reaction will be exothermic and endothermic. What do you mean by exothermic? I have mentioned it. Exothermic means in a particular reaction if energy is given out. Energy is out. If any mode of energy is going out, that is known as exothermic, and opposite is endothermic. Endothermic is energy is taken in. Energy is used. In a particular reaction, any mode of energy is used, then that reaction is known as endothermic. and sometimes energy will be given out during that reaction, that is known as exothermic. And such a reaction is mentioned if it is exothermic and both exo and endothermic will be written there, that will be denoted there only on the right side of the balanced equation. For that, if balanced equation, if we are writing that right side by using a plus sign, energy is given out. So, suppose 10 kilojoules of energy is given down, then 10 plus 10 kilojoule shows that it is exothermic reaction. So, plus 10 gives whether the energy is given out. Plus sign indicates that energy is given out, and if it is written as minus 10 kilojoules during that reaction, that minus sign indicates that the reaction is endothermic, that means energy is taken in for that reaction, used up. So, energies are also, whether the reaction is exothermic or endothermic, that is also mentioned there, and that is also by mentioning that also we can make that balanced chemical equation more informative. Another way is that sometimes we will be noting that conditions of the reaction such as pressure and then temperature, certain specific temperature and specific pressure will be there. Sometimes a catalyst will be there. Catalyst means it is a particular material which influences the rate of the reaction or speed of the reaction. Sometimes the reaction will be fast or slow because of the presence of that material, but they won't take part in any chemical reaction. They will only influence. They will not participate in chemical reaction. Such material we are calling it as the catalyst. So, that catalysts are also mentioned there, and that also will make that equation, balanced chemical equation, more informative. Okay. So, for example, if you are using that equation, writing the equation, nitrogen N2 and hydrogen reacts to produce ammonia. So, first of all we can write the state symbols there. Nitrogen is a gas, hydrogen is also a gas there, and the product form ammonia is also gas there. Okay, so we can denote the state symbols there, and now we can balance the equation. Now here it is 3 hydrogen, here it is 2, and here it is 2 nitrogen. So we can equate that nitrogen first by multiplying right side by 2. Now hydrogen is 6, and here it is also 6. Okay, so this is a balanced equation. N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. This is a balanced chemical equation, and in this case, this particular reaction is carried out at 500 degrees Celsius. So, the temperature we are mentioning just above the arrow, 500 degrees Celsius, and the pressure is also mentioned, the 200 atmospheric pressure. Unit is ATM. 200 atmospheric pressure. Both the conditions we are mentioning there, and for this reaction to happen, one presence of a catalyst is also required there, that is iron. Iron is the catalyst used there. So, all these conditions, requirements we are writing just above or below the arrow to make that chemical equations more informative. Okay, so these are the different methods for making that balanced chemical equation more informative. First of all, we have to balance that equation. After that, by putting the state symbols or by writing the conditions on above or below the arrow, or putting that plus and minus sign for showing then endothermic and exothermic and endothermic respectively. And if a gas is liberated, then we will be putting an upward arrow there, and if it is a precipitate formation, then we will be putting either PPT or downward arrow. All these shows makes that balanced chemical equation more informative. I think the topic today is very clear to you. If any doubt is there, please clear it. Thank you.